everyone, it's James from the Fit RV, and today we're going to be installing a cell booster in our new RV number 1. Now I know a lot of people are down on cell boosters these days and installing things like cellular modems and that kind of thing, but a cell booster is actually the best way forward for us because I have a day job that pays, and yes, I do have a day job that pays for my cell phone and data plan. And so a cell booster and boosting the phone that's already paid for is the smartest thing. And we're going to be installing this one, the WeBoost Drive Reach RV. We've always had good luck with WeBoost products. We had one in Lance, our Travado, that worked great for years. And so we've just got the new updated version, the Drive Reach RV. Now, a normal or reasonable person would install it in the following manner. They would make use of the roof access port here in this cabinet, and they would use that to run cable up to the roof. And then you're inside, you've got all the power and whatever connections you might need here. Great. I'm not normal or reasonable, so I've got a different way I'm going to install it. And part of the reason why I'm going to install a different way has to do with that I don't really care if I get good cell phone or data coverage while I'm asleep here in the bed. Where I really want the cell phone and data coverage to work is up where I work, which means that the indoor antenna from this guy, this little thing, needs to be somewhere close to here. Now I've done some checking and this seems to be hollow. So I'm thinking I'm going to mount the indoor antenna right in there. But if I use the default way to get a cable to the roof through the access port, that means I'd have a cable running all the way from here, all the way to the back, and then up to the roof. And I couldn't really see a good way. I mean, I tried looking up over the bathroom and all this. I couldn't really see a good way to get the cable all the way back there and not have it be unsightly. But then I noticed, hey, wait a minute. I got a TV antenna here. Could I use that? Well, the answer to that is no. But then I checked the specifications for this antenna and I saw that it's connected with RG6 cable. Look at the cables inside the WeBoost, they're RG6 cables. So my plan is to remove this antenna and reuse the cable that's in here. I've got another roof access port box, which you can buy from Winnebago, they sell them. Reuse the cable that's in here, which runs all the way forward in the RV, to this point here. Now in here, well, you can't see from back there. In here, there is a box that has the cable that runs from the antenna. And it's this one here labeled in blue. Has that labeled. There's also 12-volt power. And there's even a shelf here, which the WeBoost fits on. So it's like it was custom made for installing a WeBoost. And we don't have the TV, so we're obviously not going to be using the TV antenna. Then all I've got to do is run the wire for the inside antenna from here in through all this plasticky stuff and just down over to there. And hopefully I'm just going to mount it right in there, standing up, and we'll be covered here, we'll be covered in the cab, and everything will be great. So that's the plan. But you know, no plan survives contact with the project. So something's going to happen, I'm sure. So if you think I'm going to bleed, press 1. If you think I'm going to ruin the RV, press it. Something will happen. I do need a couple other adapters to make this work. I'll show you those when we get to them. But for now, I guess the first thing is to try to remove that exterior antenna and clean up all that sealant. So I've always been really impressed with the WeBoost kits just for the completeness of what they give you in terms of install parts. They even give you like cable ties in case you don't have any. But while I was up there getting ready to start removing sealant, I noticed something that may help me avoid even having to do that. But in order to figure out if it'll work, I need to borrow this antenna. This is the exterior antenna. So we're going to take this up there and see if my idea has any merit. All right. Okay, I started the install by removing this screw, which is just in the back here, and then this came off. And then I've noticed, hey, look, here's the cable, the end of the cable that I want, and it's got the blue tape on it, so I know it's the right one, right here. Wouldn't it be cool if I didn't have to scrape all this gunk off, drill a bunch of new holes into the roof, and then seal a new box on? So I got to thinking I could 3D print a cap for this, and then that would keep the water out because this doesn't have any sealant on it. And if you can see the back of this, it goes up and over, the water would have to do to get in. So I'd be okay there. And then there is a little cable access cutout here on the back side of this thing. So if I could mount the antenna here and run this cable into there and meet up with the other cable, I think I'm good. It's going to take probably an awful lot of fussing and swearing to get the cable bent over and run back through this way, but I think I can do it. So I think that's what we're going to try, because the idea of having to remove all this and drill new holes and put new stuff down wasn't really giving me much joy. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, I just thought of something that might make this even easier. I can, rather than drill this out and try to force that cable, let me show you that there, try to force that cable through that hole down here when I can't get my fingers into there to even do it, I thought I will just build a cap with a hole on the side, and then I can thread this little cable through the hole while I'm doing that, and then seal the cap up on there like that. I'll have to put a little goop of sealant on the cap to get the cable in there, but that should work, and then I don't have to drill, I don't have to seal up that large hole, and most importantly, I don't have to try to force this little cable down through there when I can't reach it. Whoop, that little cable down through that hole when I can't even reach it with my fingers, because maybe if I had a kid, can I get a kid up here to, no. Anyway, so we're gonna do that. In the meantime, because designing a 3D printed part is kind of boring and you don't need to watch me do that, we're gonna go ahead and connect the antenna and mount it up here in the meantime so that we can install the inside part and verify that it works. All right, so in order to accomplish this, you're gonna need an adapter. This is an F-type, which is your regular cable TV from the 80s kind of coax connector, to what they call a SMA, which is another type of coax connector. I guess SM stands for small, I don't know. But it's kind of the same thing, but in miniature, and that's what the WeBoost equipment uses. So, install that like so. Dun, dun. All right, so now effectively what I've done is swap out the antenna element with this TV antenna for this WeBoost antenna. And so now I'll get the mounting hardware and we'll put this, I don't know, somewhere in this neighborhood. Okay, now I said the WeBoost kits were very complete. They even give you thread locker. All right, the inside part now. I don't know how much cable I've got on the inside, so I may have to make a small extender cable to get there, but you're gonna require a different kind of adapter from a different pouch, a different vendor on Amazon, in order to attach the cable to the inside antenna, because here we have a connector that's just a kind of a push to connect kind of thing, not a little twisty on one. So, but they make the connectors. It's a cable TV kind of connection on one side and a push to connect. I think this one's called SMB connector on that side. So it'll plug in like that. So let's head out there and see how much cable I've got in that compartment. So there's a bunch of connections on the back of this TV antenna box, and I'm actually going to install a 12 volt outlet in here, which is the one kind of outlet that isn't in here. I'm going to install a 12 volt outlet in its place because I've got 12 volt connections. So I'm going to take the rest of these off, and there is another cable hole up top here right by this shelf, which is meant for like the HDMI from the Blu-ray player. But if I'm going to see if I can't snake this blue cable up into there, because if I could get it to connect without having to make a little adapter cable, you know, the fewer cables, fewer connections, the better quality of a signal I'm going to get. So what I'm going to do is this HDMI cable, which we are not going to use, I'm just going to cut it and use it as a fish tape to pull this other one through. Cut. So just taping those up, and this shouldn't be a very difficult pull. It's only about 8 inches. I could probably even do it without, but we're gonna make sure it works. Okay, so I've got my cable run, more or less. I've got this cabinet reassembled, except for this one last thing, which used to have an HDMI cable. And that's where I'm gonna install this guy. This is a 12 volt USB adapter, and it's just gonna wire in to these existing wires. Now these have female type quick connects on them, so I guess I'm going to go wire up some male types on these, and then we'll just plug it in. And fortunately, I already checked the mounting holes line up, so this will be pretty quick once I get this done. So into the shop. I've got the appropriate size connectors. I'm going to use my handy dandy. Actually, I don't even need to strip the wire. It's already done. Cool. It's just a matter of wiring these on and crimping them on there. Good. All right, let's take it outside. And so I pinched my thumb in the wire stripper tool. So I am technically bleeding, it's just underneath the skin. All right, so we've got these connected up now. Let's see if we get a status light. Yes, look at that, we have power. See? Lights on. All right, I can mount this up and then we'll worry about what's up top. All right, check out this super annoying thing. This cutout here, it's not gonna, there. This cutout here is just slightly too big for me to get that in there. Like, by like a millimeter. All right, I gotta get a file or something and make some more space. I think that's gonna get it. Oh yeah, okay. All right, poking wires back in. Cool, all right, let's mount it up. There we go. Looking pretty good. I gotta vacuum up some metal shavings in there, but there you go. Okay, so the outdoor antenna is more or less taken care of and it's routing to the box. I just haven't plugged it in yet. Now, the indoor antenna, I want to put in here, but I got to see what's in there first and how I'm going to run a wire from here to there. So I'm just going to start removing things until I see something that makes sense to me. All right, so I'm going to remove some of these things. And so here's a tip for Winnebago owners if you're going to go about trying to remove some of these things, which are just covering up screws. And that is, have a spotter, because this thing is going to fly in some unpredictable direction and you will probably lose. Haha, I caught it. But you see the problem. So have a spotter if you're going after these little kinds of connections. Okay. Ah, there's a little screw in there. Look at that. All right, let's go. Okay, so here's one I learned the hard way. VHB, which is normally the stickiest kind of, permanent sort of tape I work with, doesn't stick to the bottom of the WeBoost antenna, so don't try it. What does seem to work is just regular old Velcro, general purpose sticky stuff. That seems to be holding on there okay. So, learned that the hard way. Almost got the thing installed, had to take it back out, rework it. So, now we're gonna go put it up for reals. All right. All right. Well, I'm now a pro at removing and installing this. Okay, so I was able to get the other antenna cable. The antenna is sitting right in here. Cable routes up and just kind of right underneath there. and around to up here, where I can plug it in. So now all that's left to do is mount the WeBoost and give it a test. I think maybe I'll try to mount the WeBoost. So it's got this mounting pad on it, right? So I think I may mount this with the VHB tape and then make my connections and plop it in. Hopefully the VHB tape sticks here where it didn't stick there. All right. Inside antenna. There. So if that could go somewhere in that vicinity, I think we'd be okay. Now I have a 12 volt adapter. This doesn't come with a 12 volt adapter. It comes with a 120 volt. I have one ordered, and when that comes, I'll just plug it into there because I don't want to have to turn on the inverter in order to run the cell booster, right? So we want it to run off 12 volts, not 120. The adapter in the box is 120, so we use this for now, and when the other one gets here, we'll use that. So I'm not going to bother making this too neat. I will plug it in. And I got green lights. I can't see necessarily what the lights are. Let's see if I can. I just get green. All right, so I thought about doing a test here in the driveway, but honestly, I've got 3 bars here in the driveway, and I don't know that it would make much difference. But we're going on a trip tomorrow. On our way out of town, we'll stop someplace that I know has terrible cell service, and we'll give it a test. Plus, we're under a metal carport, so that may have something to do with. Anyway, I still have to make a 3D printed cap for the back, so that's going to be really boring because it's me just sitting at a computer and then a little machine going. But we'll check back in when I've got that made, and hopefully it's before tomorrow when we have to leave on a trip. Okay, so I 3D printed this, and I didn't get the hole quite right, so I had to come back at the hole with a little drill bit. But basically, here's what we got. So on the bottom, there's a little ridge on the top of that antenna cap thing, so that should accommodate that. There's some room inside to accommodate the mast of the thing. There's a hole for the screw, which should lock it in place, and a hole for the antenna cable to pass through. And I put it at an angle like that, because the end of the cable is stiff. It won't just bend right away. So hopefully that'll let me get it down where it needs to go. Haven't tried it yet. If all goes well, all I'll need is a screwdriver and some silicone to install it. I've got this tape because I'm going to need to hold something else up there. So let's go out and see if I did it right or if I have to try again. All right, so here we are. Let me unscrew this. There we go. Now I brought this tape because I think I'm going to have to hold this other cable up. Let me screw that back in a bit while I tape it up. Otherwise, it'll fall down into the nether regions and I'll never be able to retrieve it. See? Here we go. Not falling through. All right. So the first test. I guess I can cut that. Does that fit? Yes, it does. Does this fit? I gotta take this off. Put this in there. Yes, it does. So far, so good. I don't believe it. This is gonna work. Okay, here we go. Righty-tighty him underneath. All right. Take this screw out. Get in there. Get down, 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 down. You'd almost think I knew what I was doing. That's freaking fantastic. Hot damn. Now, this doesn't need any sealant because remember the construction of that thing, there's a cone that goes up in the middle so the water would have to go in and up. What does need sealant is this hole here in this cable. So I've got some silicone. We're gonna squirt up this hole, take a beauty shot of the final product here and call it a day. All right, that's it. I got a blob of silicone in there. Let me show you what it looks like, and I'm out of here. Ta-da! I tell you, it's almost like I knew what I was doing. Look at that, sun's going down. It's a good time to wrap this one up. Okay, we're on our way out of town and we have stopped here at this spot that has notoriously terrible cell service for us, and it's not disappointing. It says I've got 1 bar of LTE, but I'm gonna test the signal strength using the super secret code on my cell phone, which you'll see because I'll put a screen cap of this on. And we can see that my cell signal strength at this point is somewhere in the minus 117 to 120 range. Oh, minus 127, terrible. So if I try to do a speed test, at this point, speed test, come on, give me it won't even start the speed test. Wow, really? There we go, it started the speed test. It's really having to think about this. And I don't even think it's gonna load the speed test, to be completely honest. We'll give it a moment. All right, I've been waiting about, oh, here we go. Latency, it's finally started to test. 1.8, surely that's not milliseconds, that's gotta be like seconds. It'll be curious to see how far this test actually goes because the service is really bad. 4.6, that's got to be seconds. Normally that should be like in the 10 to 20 millisecond range. Okay, so it averaged out to be 1.4 second, not millisecond, second latency. And when it tried to download, it says, try something else. So, okay, we got a baseline of terrible. We're gonna go and plug in the WeBoost. And we're gonna give it a moment. All right, we got green lights up top. And even here on the display, now I show that I have 2 bars. All right, so going back into the cell phone to try our super secret cell phone strength tester. We see now I have, come on, minus 116. I'm thinking it hasn't updated yet. Minus 115. Okay, so before it was like minus 120 something. Now it's minus, we're working our way down, minus 113. So it's improved, but still clearly a very, very bad signal. Is that enough to let me run a signal strength test? We're going to try it. Speed test. Here we go. Oh, we're already down to a latency of 581 milliseconds. 94 milliseconds was our final latency. And it actually looks like it's trying to test the download. Oh, it tested upload. Well, we got upload of 0.1 megabits per second and download it didn't like. I'm going to try that again just to see. Oh, here we go. Now it's working. All right. So, completely non-functional without the WeBoost. With the WeBoost, we have admittedly still quite poor but functional cell strength and data speeds. So there you have it. We're gonna go with the WeBoost, and speaking of go, we're gonna get out of here because it's quite hot and we need to get rolling. Bye now.